this point, I'm saying, Lord, you confirmed DC to me, you confirmed the church to me. Like, why is it so difficult to find an apartment? Hello and welcome back, or welcome to my YouTube channel. For those who are new here, my name is Dwen Sandori, and on this channel you will see all things faith-based, fashion, lifestyle, you name it, I'm here for it. And vlogs as well, we have a lot of those coming too. But for my first few episodes, I thought it would be important to share my testimony on how I left Brooklyn, New York and moved to now Washington, D.C. But I didn't do it by myself, it was all the Lord's work. He moved me here in literally 7 days. Yeah. 7 days, 1 week, God did it. And I thought it would be important to share the testimony. So for those who do not know, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, lived there my entire life. And I always felt in my heart of hearts that New York was not my forever. But I always thought that I would move to like Paris or Europe. But when I visited those places, I was like, I don't think so. But I always knew that New York was not going to be my forever. So in May of 2018, well, May 31st, 2018, that weekend, please keep that date in mind. May 31st, 2018, my best friends and I took a weekend getaway to here, Washington, D.C., and I was here for about, I believe, 3 nights, and I loved it here a lot. And I loved it so much, I thought to myself, I can see myself living here. But I was in my early 20s around that time, so the thought of moving to another city by myself was not like an ideal thing, but it was just a thought that I pushed in the back of my mind. So I continued living life, my best life, as always. Then in July of 2020, my sister and I got our very first place together. We were living in Brooklyn at the time, at our place together with my nephew, and it was all good and great until December of 2020, my sister got into a relationship with her now husband. And when they got together, I thought to myself, I don't think my sister and I are going to be living together forever, so maybe it's time to start planning what's next for Dwen. And obviously what was next for me was not to stay in New York, because I was young, well, I'm still young, single, no kids. So I'm like, go big or go home. Like, let's move somewhere. And DC came back to mind. Okay, cool. So I said, I can't just up and go. I have to, pray, fast towards it, and seek the Lord for advice and confirmation on what to do. Now, in December of 2022, my sister's now husband, proposed to her, and they were scheduled to get married December 2024. Now, when January 2024 hit, I thought to myself, Dwen, you have to really start planning what's next for you. And in May of 2024, I decided that it was time to take a weekend getaway to DC to receive confirmation from God. Before actually visiting DC, I did receive small confirmations, what I'll share in future episodes, but I needed like a legit, tangible confirmation from God in order to know if this was the place He wanted me to be. And this is how it all happened. So, in May, let me get you the specific date so you don't think I'm making things up. Okay, so the weekend of May 24, 2024 is when I came to DC. I visited for that weekend just to receive confirmation, and I honestly thought that the confirmation was going to come during church service. I visited Union Church at that time, and I was like, it has to come through church. Like, God is obviously going to speak in church, but He didn't. So on Friday, I went to the Bible Museum, and after the Bible Museum, I decided to take a walk, get a slushie, and then I went to the monument and I put my feet in the water. And while I'm sitting there just daydreaming, I see this girl a few feet over, and she's looking at me. So I look at her, she looks at me, but she's on the phone. So I'm like, oh, maybe she's just like, staring and on the phone, like people do that. Then she hangs up the phone and she walks over to me. And she says, hi, my name is Vicky. And I'm like, hi, my name is Dwen. She's like, oh, do you live here? And I'm like, no, I'm visiting here from New York. Are you from here? She's like, no, I'm visiting from Seattle. I was like, okay, cool. What brings you to DC? And you will not believe what this girl said to me. This girl said, I'm trying to figure out if I should move here. I said, I'm trying to figure out if I should move here. So we literally became friends. I'll insert the clip here. We became friends. We spoke for like the remaining of the evening. She was sharing her background, I was sharing my background. She shared her faith, I shared my faith. And I was like, this has to be a confirmation. Like, this is just too ironic. It was too ironic. So once I received that confirmation, the next day I went to church. I attended service. Then I headed home and I said, yep, God wants me to move to DC. This time I'm thinking, okay, we're moving soon, probably by the end of the year. I wasn't specifically sure on when, because I didn't even bother to ask God. I was just so excited to like get the confirmation that I was moving. So May came and left, June came and left, and then July comes around. Now in July, my church home in Brooklyn, PLC, they host a game night. And one of my good friends, Anika, attends the game night along with her sister, Naima. And we sit at the same table. Anika sitting next to me, and beside Anika is Naima. And beside Naima is this new girl. And I've never seen her before. She's never met me before. So I automatically assume that she's friends with my friend Anika. Okay, cool. So we have the game night, everything's good and dandy, and then after game night, we go upstairs to the lobby, and I'm just kikiing with my friends per usual. And Anika says her goodbyes, and Anika's friend leaves as well. Cool. So a few moments pass, and Anika comes back with her friend, and her friend needs to use the bathroom. So I'm there just talking to Anika while we're waiting for her friend to use the bathroom, and I'm sharing some videos that Anika had taken on my phone. So I'm trying to airdrop it to Anika, and in the midst of it, her friend comes back, and Anika disappears somewhere, and her and the friend and I began speaking, and I'm like, oh, hey, what was your name again? And she's like, my name is Gael, and I'm like, oh, I'm Dwen. How long have you been attending PLC? She's like, I don't attend this church. I was like, oh, so how do you know Anika? She's like, I don't know Anika. I just met her today. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, so where are you from? Like, where do you live? And she's like, oh, I'm from DC. And I was like, oh, that's so ironic. I was literally there in May looking for a confirmation from God and trying to find a church home. Can you recommend a church? And she's like, yeah, I can recommend a church. I'll recommend my church. I'll share with you on Instagram. So we exchange Instagrams, and later that night I go on Instagram and I see her DM, and she sends me the church. And the church and I literally have one mutual follower. And this follower is someone I've never met before. But I remember them adding me years ago, and they're located in DC, and I said, oh, when I decide to move to DC, I'm gonna hit this person up and ask them for advice on moving. So I just thought that was just too coincidental that this church had that one mutual friend. So, operating in faith, in September, I decide to go on a weekend trip to DC again to visit the church. So in September, I go to the church, I absolutely love it, and I run into my friend Gael again, and her and I are just speaking. I'm telling her all that God has done. I'm like, this is a confirmation, like this has to be the church. And during the sermon, the pastor was preaching on destiny helpers, and Gael and I looked at each other and we were like, wait, you're my destiny helper. She's like, I'm your destiny helper. I'm like, you're my destiny helper. So now we have confirmation on the church. We have confirmation on DC in general. The only thing that's left now is an apartment. So once I received that confirmation again in September, I said it's time to go hunting. So in October, I go apartment hunting. November, I go apartment hunting. December, I go apartment hunting, and nothing. There were no apartments that I liked, and one of the apartments that I did like, I was denied because I made too much in income. So at this point, I'm saying, Lord, you confirmed DC to me, you confirmed the church to me. Like, why is it so difficult to find an apartment? And once my sister's wedding came and went, I began feeling very uncomfortable. From the months of September, well, the last quarter of 2024, I was uncomfortable everywhere. I began feeling uncomfortable at work. I began feeling uncomfortable at church. I began feeling uncomfortable at home. And I was just at a point where I was just like, I want to move, and I want to move now. Like, Lord, there is no way you're making me this uncomfortable and having me stuck in New York. Like, there's no way. I was just so excited, and I just felt like so depleted, and I felt like I was being delulu. Like, I thought you confirmed moving. I thought you confirmed DC. I thought you confirmed the church. So what is happening? January 2025 hit. I said, you know, it's time to go on a fast. And y'all, I went on a 7-day dry fast, and that is when the Lord spoke to me.